It's been a rough 24 hours for Marxists, communists, anti-patriots, anti-American haters, hater of freedom and liberty and patriotism, people that hate bald eagles. Look, it's been a rough 24 hours. You probably saw the executive order prosecuting burning of the American flag. Trump's fed up with seeing this, and he's done something about it. This is the presidency of you can just do things. This is another shining example of this. And this is also a test of his coalition. The coalition still has this cohort that's existed in the Republican Party for a very long time. It's the principles crowd. It's the people that will stick to their principles to the very end. While the left goes out and wins, we have our principles. You know, John Doyle makes this point. These principles people, they'll be facing the wall. There'll be guns pointed to the back of their heads, and they'll turn to each other and they would say, "Wow, could you imagine if the roles were reversed? Could you imagine how mad they'd be?" I mean, that kind of really defines it all. The executive order explains very well why this is necessary. I'll read a little bit here. Desecrating the American flag is uniquely offensive and provocative. It is a statement of contempt, hostility, and violence against our nation, uppercase N, the clearest possible expression of opposition to the political union that preserves our rights, liberty, and security. Burning this representation of America may incite violence and riot. American flag burning is also used by groups of foreign nationals as a calculated act to intimidate and threaten violence against Americans because of their nationality and place of birth. I mean, Exhibit A was like 2 months ago. You had the LA riots in Los Angeles. You had a mob, really not a mob, you had basically a mini invasion almost. You had a massive mob of foreign nationals, or people at least with foreign flags. So by extension, they're pledging allegiance to a foreign nation. I think that makes them foreign to some degree, varying degrees. Regardless, they swarmed the streets of Los Angeles, took over. They were burning cars, waving the flag of a foreign country around. In this case, it was Mexico. And there was desecrations of the flag happening left and right. And when you saw that happen, right? When you saw that happen in Los Angeles, were you sitting there thinking, wow, this is a really intricate and interesting and thought-provoking protest of our federal government's approach to immigration policy? Or did you see that and you thought, oh, wow, these people are evil. Yeah, they hate the United States. They hate me. Because like there's this false idea. Like, I'll put it this way. When we talked about this last night on IRL, hosted by Jack Poso, the great Jack Poso. And there's this point. It's like when you saw the LA riots and you saw the Mexican flag flying, did your head go to government? Did you say, oh, wow, these people must be in support of the Mexican government? No, they were flying the flag of their heritage and of their people, and it represented something deeper, something more tangible, something more esoteric in a lot of ways, but it represented a people and a nation, not so much the government of Mexico. I mean, I think the majority of those people there probably don't even know who the president of Mexico is. So it's the same thing with the American flag. It's like this symbol is something deeper than just the government. I mean, there's plenty of ways to protest the government, but when you're burning a flag of America, I mean, of the United States, you're burning the flag of people's heritage. You're burning. It is a soft declaration of war on the American people and their ancestors and their history and what they've built, like sacred and cherished. I mean, yes, that's exactly what's going on, and I think this is excellent that the Trump admin pointed this out. Is burning this representation of America may incite violence and riot. I think that's perfectly fair. I think we've gone too far. With the stoicism on the right, where it's like you're not allowed to be offended by anything. It's like there's some things that you actually should be offended by. That's perfectly normal. Like when you see an American flag getting burned, especially by a foreign national as a way to sort of declare war on you, you should be a little offended. I mean, I think that's perfectly reasonable. Like you should be a little triggered. You should. If you're a patriot, if you're a red-blooded American, that's totally grounds to be triggered. That's totally grounds to be offended. And we saw yesterday, people are already just pushing it, right? Because like, let me paint a picture. Let me just explain my position here, at least. Is when I think of someone burning the flag in 2025, right? I know historically, there was a bit more nuanced sort of protests. There was more it wasn't as clear which sides were which and whatever, and there was flag burning occurring. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, I'm 24. My entire life, when someone's burned a flag and I've seen them burn a flag, it's 1-to-1 with people that hate me. That's typically how it goes. It's no different here. This guy, like, right after I don't even know if the ink was dried on the executive order. This guy, like, total idiot, goes out in front of the White House and just look at this.
You may want to express yourself. There's a First Amendment right to burn the American flag. The Archdeacon in that house right there signed an executive order today saying that it was illegal to burn the American flag. No president can make a law, period.
He just did. He just did make a law. What do you mean no one can make a law? He just did. Sorry, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to burn a flag? Okay, well, have fun in prison. So, like, this guy, total idiot, just goes right out after Trump literally said, hey, if you do this, you're going to go to jail for a year. He's not bold. This is not bold. This is the thing, is all these protests these days just feel so shallow and fake because they're just emulating what they've seen in movies, right? All the cool protests, all the interesting and introspective ways of protesting have been done already. And now it's just cringe. Now this is just cringe. Like, he's clearly LARPing. He clearly thinks he's, like, I don't know, in some sort of Vietnam protest or something. It's like, bro, this is what happens when we live in such a safe society that people are removed from what can actually, like, threaten their lives. So I don't even know if he really thought about, like, going to prison for a year. I mean, in all fairness to him, he's coming out of 4 years of Biden, followed by, or previously 8 years of Obama, where if you were on the left, you could basically just act with impunity. Any protest you could do whatever you wanted. So in their heads, I don't think they've quite realized that there's a new sheriff in town, and that this kind of stuff, when we say you're going to go to jail for burning a flag, we're actually serious about it. I don't think you realize that. Here's the quote, in case you couldn't hear it. This guy, a retired Army combat veteran, it's your First Amendment right to burn the American flag. No president can make a law, period. He literally just did. No president. Oh, what do you mean? It's right here. Sorry, you can't do it. And they even explain, notwithstanding the Supreme Court's rulings on the First Amendment protections, the court has never held that American flag desecration conducted in a manner that is likely to incite imminent lawless action, or that is an action amounting to fighting words, is constitutionally protected. I mean, J.D. Vance explained this. Here's reading from him. 1, Scalia was a great Supreme Court justice and a genuinely kind and decent person. I believe that. The president's executive order is consistent with Texas versus Johnson. And 3, Texas versus Johnson was wrong. And I mean, look, this guy, it's going to depend, but this is clearly provocative, and this is clearly a threat towards the American people when you're burning a flag. I mean, look, I don't know if this is going to be elevated to the level where this sort of mechanism of a year in prison would be exercised, but it would certainly apply for people in, like, for example, the Los Angeles riots, where they're trying to take control of a city and they burn a flag. It would certainly apply there. I mean, especially because, I mean, you saw people in those protests were saying this is occupied Mexican territory. This is a reconquista of historic lost Mexican territory. So burning a flag in that case is absolutely a soft declaration of war. And even the First Amendment free speech stuff. I mean, Cernovich was on a heater yesterday. Pardon me one sec. He was on a heater yesterday, and he threw this up. And it's so true. Pornography is not protected freedom of speech either. Totally made up right. Most of what you people consider freedom of speech, quote, freedom of speech, was made up a couple of decades ago by Marxists who took the country down a dark path. That's absolutely true. Like, the idea that our founders would tolerate this kind of stuff is just not backed up by what the reality on the ground was. I mean, states had blasphemy laws well into the 19th century, right? Like, this idea that we had these, like, tests of the First Amendment on a daily basis back then was not the case. For one, because the country was just a bit more and in every way homogenized. People sort of kind of were on the same page about things like this. I mean, obviously there was division on specific policies, and there was a different way of life, which, led to a war. But as far as like stuff like burning a flag, I mean, you wouldn't burn a flag unless you were intending on declaring war. This was something that this was a common way of declaring war around the time of our founding, is you would march down to their embassy, the embassy of the person you're declaring war on. You chop their flagpole down, or you burn their flag. So it's like they just had a completely different conception. And like Cerno's hitting on here, yeah, the freedom of speech that we're seeing now, where it's just these tests of like how much can we infuriate you and still be legally protected, is like a recent invention. Here's another heater from Cerno. Almost everything you believe about freedom of speech is from the past 3 decades of activist judicial rules and the blatant political activism of Justice Brennan and the senile Thurgood Marshall, totally made up out of thin air. I mean, absolutely. That's exactly what's going on here. Obviously, people are pushing back on this because you have the principles people. They're still around. This is from Fox News. Trump's flag burning order draws rare fire from conservatives. I'll read here. Trump faced unusual pushback from the right. Okay, not from the right, from like a few people on the right. On social media after signing the order, as conservatives largely defended flag burning as a First Amendment right. I mean, this is kind of an extrapolation. It just depends on what your For You page is, because, I mean, mine was all people fired up, and they're like, thank you, we're tired of the left tormenting us all the time and us not doing anything about it. So I don't know if they did polling. Maybe we are in the minority. Maybe they did secret polling and conservatives are in favor of burning the flag. That'd be a little shocking. But yeah, we have some people here. Colin Wright, he wrote, banning flag burning is absurd. It's anti-free speech and peak snowflake behavior. I would never burn the American flag because of what it symbolizes to me, but the act of banning the burning of it runs more contrary to American values than burning itself ever could. Like, don't let these people gaslight you into thinking that it's an American value to allow people to burn the American flag. I mean, this is just insanity. This really is insanity. I think this tweet summed it up well. I saw this on my For You page. People go to jail for using their brakes too hard on a pride flag crosswalk, and I'm supposed to feel sorry for some commies going to jail for burning the U.S. flag? And this was in response to Jack Posobiec saying, imagine simping for a flag burner. I mean, that's what's going on here. It's like you just have to realize what time we're in. I mean, if this was like a really stable country and we were in a moment of like unity, and then we could have a national conversation about like, okay, well, what does protest look like? What does flag burning represent? Like, that's one thing. But when I just saw mobs moving up and down the streets of downtown Los Angeles, claiming that they're on occupied territory, burning flags, I mean, sorry, it's time to crack down on that. And then the principles people, they can't even use the what happens if they do it to us argument. That's typically what you hear, right? Whenever Trump does something cool, they're like, oh, well, what happens when Kamala becomes president and then she flips it around on you? But this doesn't even apply with the flag burning, because they already do that. Like this gentleman, Captain Drever, pointed out, they already do punish you for exercising your freedom of speech. Like from this article right here from the New York Times, 4 arrested after pride flags are slashed at Atlanta LGBTQ landmark. So they already do. Like, this is just us reacting. That's all this is. This isn't us like going out of line and just like an authoritarian 1984, they're banning protests. That's not even what's happening here. This is just, they're saying, oh, so you protect your sacred, flags, which is the pride flag or whatever. We're going to do the same. And even if they didn't do that, this would still be justified, by the way. You still shouldn't be allowed to burn an American flag. But all I'm saying is, like, they can't even use the argument of what if they do it to us, because they're already doing it to us, like on a mass scale. I mean, hello. I mean, not to mention cancel culture, not to mention, what would happen if you entertain certain discourse between the years of 2020 and 2022, what would happen to you? So, I mean, like, we just have to win. That's what this ultimately comes down to, is just, do you want to win or not? This is just a win. Like, it's very, like the executive order pointed out, this could incite violence and riot. And these people that are burning these flags, they're not using it as a form of like nuanced protest of the U.S. government. They're using it as a threat. I mean, hello, that's clearly what's going on here. So, I mean, look, I agree in theory that's like, okay, you know, we should First Amendment purists. Like, I totally agree, but this is completely different. This is completely different. Like, this isn't just, oh, I'm buying a flag from Amazon and burning it. Just like, why would you do that anyway? But that's not even what's going on. They're specifically targeting people that are using the flag burning as a threat and an attack against the American people. And this is consistent with Trump's second term. Is ultimately we're putting the American people first, and we're prioritizing their interests and prioritizing their rights. That's perfectly valid, and that's why he won with a popular mandate. This is what we want. We want to be prioritized again. We want our interests to be in mind. Like I said it on IRL last night, and I'll stand by it, is I'm tired of prioritizing the interests of people that hate me. Can we prioritize the interest of patriots for once? Is that acceptable? Is that out of line, you know, to restructure the priorities a little bit? It's kind of nice. I mean, you know, people are saying, oh, this is red meat for the base. I mean, I'll take some red meat. I mean, compared to what we've dealt with over the last, 4 to 5 decades, yeah, a little red meat, it's great. And this probably didn't even take much time. I mean, there is some criticisms like, okay, there's other fish to fry. I mean, you could probably whip this up on a lunch break. I mean, I'm just saying, it's not like, we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're just saying, hey, yeah, we could prosecute you for burning a flag. And like I said earlier, in 2025, I mean, the people that are burning flags, these are kind of one-to-one with people that hate me, and and one-to-one with people that I'd like to hear less from. I'll put it that way. So if you agree, disagree, I don't know, leave in the comments. Maybe I'm missing something here, but yeah, I don't think so. I think this is great. I think this is a reprioritization of the American people, the American nation. I think it's fantastic. We'll see if they actually are able to exercise crackdown. I don't know. You might see some more cringe lib protests where they pretend like they're in a Vietnam War movie or something. You'll probably see a little more of that, but I think once they realize that this executive order could actually be used, I think you'll see a little less of that. So yeah, like, subscribe, follow me on X and Instagram at RealTateBrown. We will be back with another segment at 1 and or potentially 12. I don't know what time this one will go up. There'll be another segment today. Also, the live show coming up. And yeah, we'll be back tonight for Timcast IRL at 8 p.m. Be there or be square.